What's up everyone, I'm Hitmontop, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Hitmon family, of which 2 members gained access to new moves this season. Hitmontop now learns Triple Axle, which I think is a really good addition to its move pool, whilst Hitmonlee now learns Blaze Kick, which is a slightly cheaper bait move than Close Combat, which is okay, but it still kind of sucks unfortunately. I think Blaze Kick would have to be a 35 energy charge move for it to make much of a difference for Hitmonlee. I used Mantine in the lead because of the Aerial Ace buff and wanting to stick to using only Pokemon that received buffs or new moves this season, but I do also have a few bonus battles at the end with a triple Hitmon team, which obviously didn't go very well, hence why there's only a few bonus battles. With that being said, let's just get into the question of the day. Which Pokemon have you most enjoyed using this season because of the new move update? Let me know in the comment section down below, and with that being said, let's get into the battles now. Alright, so going into the first battle, and it may be a new season, but we're still going to see the exact same degenerate teams that we've been seeing for many seasons now as we lead into a Shadow Victory Bell, and I'm fairly confident that there's going to be a Medicham and a Bastiodon in the back, which is actually quite tricky for this team because, of course, I can get rid of this Victory Bell. They might actually win the 2 shields here, but I can't really do an awful lot up against that Medicham with my back line. But this is where Triple Axle Hitmontop comes in. I'm going to swap into my Triple Axle Hitmontop, get an energy advantage, baiting out the Medicham here, and we can boost our attack with that Triple Axle. Now I'm going to use a shield here. The opponent baits with a power-up punch, which is unfortunate, but I do make it to Triple Axle number 2. We are boosted. This is going to do more damage this time around, and it gets the Medicham incredibly low already. They can go for power-up punch number 2, and we will be able to simultaneously KO each other, and I'm very confident that it is the Bastiodon in the back. So I'm going to come in with my Shadow Hitmonlee. We will get the double kick farm down. We are already at the yellow health, but it doesn't matter. A close combat will easily be enough damage from this range to one-shot the Bastiodon, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we're going to see Mantine into a Tropius. Now, this is a pretty decent lead matchup for us. Of course, Aerial Ace did receive a buff, so it will deal more damage, but we still want to go for Ice Beam if we want to take them out, because Tropius is a very bulky Pokemon here. So, going to go for the Ice Beam, throwing just before they make it to Leaf Blade number 2, and we do grab a shield from the opponent. The opponent throws on alignment there, which is good news for me, and they also go for Aerial Ace, and I know Aerial Ace did receive a buff, but it's still certainly not the move you want to go for in neutral matchups, especially with Tropius as Leaf Blade. It's such a good charge move, and that actually allows me to make it to the Ice Beam to take out the Tropius before they get to another charge move. And here I swap into my Hitmonlee. They come in with a Milotic here, and we can go straight for the Close Combat, and Close Combat one-shots the Milotic from full health nearly. They come in with Umbreon, and we're going to see back-to-back booms here as we go for Close Combat number 2 into the Umbreon, one-shotting the Umbreon, and we take that game. Now I have to say that was basically the only thing Hitmonlee did in all of these battles. It really does suck, but that was very satisfying to see. But into the next battle, we see a Galvantula in the lead. Absolutely awful lead for us. It does kind of core break the entire team as well, but here my only goal is to try and grab all shields from my opponent. I know they are definitely going to win this matchup, but if I can get both shields from the opponent, we might be able to take out that Galvantula in the end game. But let's see. We're going to shield up the Psycho Boost number 2, and because they are quad debuffed in their attack, I should be able to make it to back-to-back Blaze Kicks. They still will be able to fully counter farm me down, but that's fine with me. We're going to go for Blaze Kick number 3, getting the shield from the opponent there. Actually, it might have been Blaze Kick number 4, I don't know, I wasn't really counting there. And they might be running Thunderbolt, but they are quad debuff, so we do actually tank that very comfortably. The opponent swaps into Greninja, and this is a little bit tricky for me because Greninja up energy is going to do a lot of damage with the Hydro Cannon, so I'm expecting them to go for the Night Slash here as it is neutral damage. And then what I'm going to do is try and swap and catch the next Night Slash onto my Hitmontop, as this is not going to do much damage. It is resisted, and they are in range where I can counter farm them down. The opponent's going to come back in with the Deoxys. Honestly, I needed to commit to the full counter farm down. I'm not sure if I would have made it, but like this, there's just no way we win now because the opponent can go straight for a charge move. They will outpace me. Discharge takes out the Hitmontop, and an Aerial Ace definitely does not KO from that range, so I let them farm me down there, and I do lose that game. But GG's to that opponent. Definite misplay on my end. I'm not sure if I would have got the counter farm down, but I think that was my only play. And here my opponent tries to catch an Aerial Ace onto their Magna Zone, which is running Volt Switch, but luckily for me, I didn't throw straight away. They full send the Wild Charge, and I get a massive double kick farm down. They now come in with Quagsire. I'm going to bait with a Blaze Kick, probably not that necessary, but we grab the shield anyways, and now I'm going to go for a close combat on the CMP tie with this Quagsire, and if they let it go through, which they do, it does huge damage, puts them into farm down range. I'm going to let this move go through. They actually go for an Acid Spray, which is interesting. It still takes me out there. They swap back into the Victory Bell. We can go for the Aerial Ace, and this will grab the final shield from the opponent, and now we make it to the Ice Beam because this will still do more damage than an Aerial Ace. Ice Beam takes out the Victory Bell. We can Wing Attack, farm down the Quagsire, and take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Sableye in the lead, so a pretty neutral lead matchup, and of course Sableye does fairly well up against our backline because it does resist the counter and double kick damage from our two fighting type Pokemon. I'm now going to go for an Aerial Ace here, throwing just before they make it to the next charge move, and Aerial Ace will go unshielded by the opponent. We make it to a second Aerial Ace before they get to the foul play, and actually doesn't quite take them out, but one more Wing Attack does the job, just as they did reach the foul play there. They actually come in with Skarmory. I was not expecting to see a Skarmory. I threw at an awkward time there, but honestly just needed to get off the damage. And now this is a little bit tricky here. We come in with the Hitmontop. I'm going to have to use a shield. I will be able to boost up my attack as they go for a Sky Attack, and they are going to stay in and then swap into Medicham. I'm thinking now that this is not great for us. I don't think we're going to be able to win this game here. We go for the Triple Axle, and I have to let this move go through, I believe, but yeah, I let it go through. It is just the Ice Punch. I will make it to another Triple Axle. I really need them to let this go through, but there's just no way they would do that. I now have to swap into my Hitmonlee, and yeah, they've still got a shield advantage here, so I don't think we can win this at all. But we are going to play it out just in case, for whatever reason, they choose to no shield 2 times in a row. But we go for the Blaze Kick. Blaze Kick will grab the final shield. We can win the CMP tie, go for Blaze Kick number 2, but that Skarmory will be able to fully farm me down, and then go for a Sky Attack into my Hitmontop as I come back in. And we are unfortunately going to lose this game here. So I did not expect to see Skarmory. It kind of destroyed me there, so maybe Skarmory does still have some play if you're not expecting it. But into the next game, and GG's to that opponent, by the way. Very well played. We see a Galarian Stunfisk. We swap into our Hitmonlee, and the opponent comes in with a Medicham. Now, if you look at the CP, you're going to notice that this Medicham is severely under-leveled. That's why Blaze Kick did so much damage. I think this was one of the earlier battles I did with the team. I was like, bloody hell, Blaze Kick is absolutely amazing. And then I saw the CP, and I was like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense there. Maybe Blaze Kick isn't as strong as I thought it was, but that's fine. We've put them into range where we should be able to Wing Attack, farm them down. They just go for an Ice Punch here. Probably going to go for another Ice Punch. Maybe it is the Psychic. I'm not sure. It is the Psychic. It does a bit more damage, but it doesn't really matter. And the opponent swaps back into Galarian Stunfisk. I'm able to swap in time, catch the Rock Slide, and here we can overfarm massively in this matchup. They did now farm to the Earthquake, so I'm going to use a shield here. They full sent it, and now here I won't quite get the counter farm down, so I farm 2 back-to-back charge moves, going for that Triple Axle. This will boost my attack, and let's see what the opponent has in the back. It is a Greninja, and this is game over for the opponent. There's nothing they can do. We go for Triple Axle number 2, and we're going to put them into range where our double boosted counters will be able to fully counter farm them down. They're going to swap out back into the Medicham. I wasn't sure if they had a move. I'm pretty confident that they didn't, but we just play it safe, go and triple boost ourselves, counter takes out the Greninja, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent. Into the next battle, we see Lickitung in the lead, so going to say swap into our Hitmonlee, and the opponent responds with a Medicham. So I was feeling pretty confident that it was going to be Lickitung, Medicham, and Surfetched in the back, so I thought I might be able to sweep with my Hitmontop here if I can grab a shield advantage, which I do, which is massive for me. So now I'm going to come in with my Mantine, commit no shields on the Mantine. It's not really necessary. I'm going to let this move go through. The opponent goes for the Psychic, and I should be able to overfarm just a little bit in this matchup, but no, I was wrong. Now they make it to Psychic number 2, and this will get me incredibly low here. Maybe that's good for me, but it's probably not. I probably should have thrown straight away. Aerial Ace takes out the Medicham. We now swap into Hitmontop, and I was wrong. It's actually a Shadow Gligar here, which might still be fine for us because we do have Triple Axle. Triple Axle gonna grab a shield from the opponent, boost our attack, and a second Triple Axle will be enough to take them out, but these wing attacks are really chunking. They will outpace me to the second Aerial Ace here, grabbing my final shield. So now I need to overfarm appropriately, but I can't get too low because otherwise they will be able to fully lick farm me down here. So Triple Axle takes out the Gligar. Can I make it to the close combat in time? No, I'm not able to do so. They make it to the body slam. It takes me out, and here, maybe if I had a healthier Mantine, I could have won this game, but I still think it's quite unlikely. But GG's to that opponent there. And into the next battle, we are going to lead Mantine into a Tentacruel, so pretty good to see it in the lead here because poison types do very well up against my backline. We are going to see them go for an Acid Spray straight away, fine with me. I don't really intend on shielding my Mantine. Maybe it's a mistake because if they've got something else that beats fighting types in the back, then we would struggle, but I'm going to let the next Acid Spray go through as well. They should actually probably go for Scald here as it would do more damage now because we are debuffed, but we go for the Aerial Ace and we should be able to barely make it to another Aerial Ace before they farm me down. And Aerial Ace will be grabbing a first shield from the opponent, so that's fine with me. I'm now going to come in with my Shadow Hitmonlee and actually commit no shields, hoping they just go straight for an Acid Spray, because if they go for Scald, that will basically one-shot us, but the opponent does go straight for that Acid Spray, and we are debuffed. We're just going to blind throw the close combat. They came in with a Ludicolo that does so much damage. I now swap into my Hitmontop, get the counter farm down, and they've got Galarian Stunfisk in the back, which is an easy win for us, so I'm able to take that game. So into the next game, we are now running a triple Hitmontine. The order is slightly different because I did chop and change it a little bit here, but we lead into Azumarill. Gonna swap into our Hitmonchan because we do have Thunder Punch, and Thunder Punch will be doing some nice damage to the opponent. They have enough energy for a Play Rough, so we're going to shield. It is the Play Rough, and now they swap into a Venusaur. Now, the awesome thing about Hitmonchan is that it could run any of the 3 elemental punches, so we're very likely to grab a shield up against this Venusaur, because Venusaur is a lot glassier than the Azumarill. They go for the Frenzy Plant, and I know I can outpace them, or at least make it to the Blaze Kick at the same time as the Frenzy Plant, and I will easily win the CMP tie. So this should be grabbing the final shield, or just taking out the Venusaur, and we do grab that final shield. And at this point, I'm happy to let Hitmonlee go down. I know they will barely outpace me to the next charge move. Well, actually, maybe they wouldn't, but we're going to come in with the Hitmontop. I'm going to go for a massive overfarm before going for that triple axle, and the opponent actually swaps into Galarian Stunfisk, so I'm going to count to 5 here, go for the close combat, hoping this is enough to take them out. It's actually not, but the opponent didn't realize they were going to survive that, so they didn't go for the rock side there, and that is amazing for me because now I can boost my attack with the triple axle, and I am debuffed, so these bubbles probably would have taken me out with that rock side as well, but now I make it to a boosted close combat, taking out Azumarill, and I'm able to take that game. So GG's to that opponent there. Into the next game, we see Hitmontop into Altaria. Now, this is kind of good because we've got triple axle, but at the same time, they could probably just double shield and fully Dragon Breath farm us down, which is not an ideal situation to be in here. As we go for that triple axle, the opponent does respect the damage straight away, so they clearly know that Hitmontop does have triple axle and that we're going to be running it, and we make it to a second triple axle. Remember, Altaria does take slightly longer to make it to those sky attacks, but it doesn't really help us out at all. I'm going to swap into my Hitmonlee as it's a little bit less flexible, but I think even a close combat from this range should be enough damage to take them out here. So I'm going to go for that close combat, and from this range, close combat does take out the Altaria. They come in with Azumarill. We barely make it to close combat number 2. Now, we still have a chance at winning this game, but we kind of need to be able to swap out of our matchup here. So I'm going to wait out the switch clock as much as possible before coming in with our Hitmonchan. And here we need the switch clock to come up, and it barely didn't come up there. There was like a millisecond out there. Play Rough takes out the Hitmonchan. I don't know what their third Pokemon was. Maybe they would have beaten me anyways, but that was just agonizing to see. But unfortunately, we do lose that game. So GG's to that opponent. Into next game, we've seen Medicham in the lead, which is also not very good to see, which is unfortunate, but I mean, you're running a triple Hitmon team, you're not going to see a lot of great leads here, or even if you do see a great lead, they might say swap into like a charm user and it's basically game over. But here, we do shield the first charge move, and I will be able to win the CMP tie here up against this Medicham, hopefully grabbing a shield from the opponent here, and we do grab that shield. We also get Medicham incredibly low, so I should be able to fully counter farm them down, and I don't think they will make it to a Psychic in this matchup, so I can safely let this move go through. Just going to be another Ice Punch from the Medicham, and I will come out with a triple Axle loaded and a little bit more energy. That should come in with a Alolan Ninetales, and yep, like that, there's just not a lot we can do. We go for close combat, we swap into the Hitmonlee, and we don't even make it to a Blaze Kick, and Yeah, that absolutely sucks, unfortunately, but into the next game, we see a Scrafty in the lead, so a much better lead for us. If we want to see a counter user, Scrafty probably the best thing to see, as it does take super effective damage from our own fighting type moves. We go for Power Punch, grabbing a shield from the opponent. They're going to go for Power Punch straight away as well. And now they swap into an Ivysaur, so I don't really know why you would run Ivysaur over Venusaur, because Power Whip is just definitely a lot worse than a Frenzy Plant, although it is, I think, slightly bulkier. But here we are going to overfarm in this matchup. The opponent throws on alignment, so I get the extra double kick through. Now we can go for a Blaze Kick, and this will be enough damage to take out the Ivysaur from this range. And the opponent is going to have a Galarian Stunfisk in the pack, so I'm going to go straight for that close combat, and this will easily be enough damage to one-shot the Stunfisk. They come back in with Scrafty, they're actually able to counter farm us down, but it doesn't matter because we can come in with our Hitmontop, go for a counter farm down of our own, and this will be enough damage here that the counter takes out the Scrafty as they get to a charge move, and I'm able to take that game. So that's going to be it for today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment letting me know, and as well, don't forget to respond to the question of the day if you haven't done so already. And if you want to see more content like this in the future, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. That way you'll be notified whenever I upload a new video. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.